guys, it's Kat once again. I'm gonna close this door. Ooh. Wow, I was not thinking very smart, very well. Let me not get too naked on here. So, because I literally have no life and I'm such a sad person, you guys can already guess what I'm doing. I'm getting ready to go on another fucking date. I should probably calm down and stop going on these fucking dates, but you know. Oh, what's happening here? One sec, y'all. Oh no. Oh no. Come on. Okay, I'll be right back, you guys. One sec, guys. I'm so sorry. I just need to check something. Did this go out? No, it works. Okay, well, whatever. So, I'm not even gonna get into what just happened because it's not relevant. And yeah. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to go on a date. Oh, I'm gonna close this door because they're doing fucking construction next door, and they're so fucking loud. Like the construction workers are like constantly they're constantly blasting music and having loud conversations. Like no one fucking lives here. Like no one fucking lives here. I live here. I work from home. I'm here all day. Like please, respect. Anyway. So I'm getting ready for my date, and for the first time in a while, there's no set time, I guess, for this day. Like we have not yet been like, oh yeah, we're gonna meet at this time. So yeah. That's definitely a good thing because usually I'm rushing when I'm on here. So I want to tell you guys about my date yesterday. So this is gonna be a predictably Catherine type day because you guys know sometimes I'm just really absent-minded. Like I just sort of float through life sometimes and just sort of hope for the best. So last night, I get up and I go to after the broadcast. I got up and I went to my date. And for context, you guys didn't see the last broadcast. This was a date with a guy who I have seen a couple of different times at the poly meetup I go to every week. Not every week, every month. And the big attraction I had to him honestly was that he was fucking tall. He's like way taller than me. And as someone who is 5'10", who wears combat boots every day, it's very uncommon for me to meet men who are taller than me. So, yeah. And he seemed like a really cool guy. He works in film and stuff, and I was just really excited to meet him. But he was someone who has only known me through these poly meetups. And my big thing, honestly, with dating has always been I've been online dating because it's just safer for me, because I can put in my profile that I'm transgender and I don't have to sort of worry about someone going on a date with me without knowing. Now, I will say there are definitely been times where met up with men who, despite me saying in my profile that I'm transgender, they don't either they don't understand that, or they didn't read my fucking profile. And then we have to sort of start from this really shitty, position of like, oh fuck, you don't know that I'm trans. And that's really awkward. So anyway, but he was the second guy who was asking me out in this community. And I was like, all right, I'm going to sort of see where this goes, because one of the criticisms that I've gotten from a lot of my previous date mates is that, I should probably start meeting people in person that are at the things that I'm at the events that I'm at. I should probably do that, as opposed to meeting a lot of these men online who usually aren't shit and won't do shit for me. So I was like, let's just see where this goes. And I went on this date knowing that I've never had a formal conversation with him about me being trans. Now, he is my Facebook friend on my private Facebook page, where I don't talk about being trans every day, but I do discuss it from time to time, especially recently, because I've been making posts about like breaking up with my ex and a lot of the shit that's going on in my mind surrounding that, and like the feelings of like, never finding someone and stuff like that, all that stuff that I've been kind of unpacking in the aftermath of my relationship, and seeing that he's moved on and stuff, So it's not like there's no way for him to see that stuff, but I've never had a formal conversation with him, right? And so going into this date, I was like, I'm going to get to a point where I tell him I don't know how I'm going to do it, but at some point I'm going to tell him that I'm trans, because I don't see the point in really dating someone who doesn't know, and also isn't into trans women. That's just, you guys know, I just sort of ended a relationship sort of with, two men who both were great, but both did not really know if they liked trans women really. And that was just very anxiety inducing. And I don't want to fucking repeat that. Right? But for me, it's been sort of hard for me to sort of fit into the poly community, because, I'm a very straight woman, but I'm also trans, right? And so the way that people perceive me is usually just, a cis straight girl. And then those who do know that I'm trans think that I should go to like the queer poly meetups, which tend to be more focused on DFAB queer folk, right? These are not spaces where I would meet someone. DFAB queer folk who like women. That's usually what the queer poly sort of spaces in LA sort of tend to be. They don't tend to be places where you can be a straight trans woman and meet a guy who likes trans women, Not to say there isn't like overlap, like there's definitely, I don't know their particular gender situation, but there's definitely like this person who I read as fairly masculine, but I know that they know about a lot of the sort of queer meetups. We talked about it last time we were there, and I know that they're interested in me, but as we discussed in my last video, I'm really not interested in people whose genders are not male. That's kind of not really my thing. And I don't want to sit there. My big thing with dating someone who is not a man is that I like men and that I'm exclusively attracted to men. And if you're someone who I'm reading as a man, but you're not a man, that just seems like it's going to be this cycle of like a very invalidating relationship. And I don't want to really get into that, and honestly, it's weird because I've definitely seen, I've seen a lot of poly people, poly men, let's just be specific. I've seen a lot of poly men date queer people who are DFAB. And when you talk to them about like how they feel about everything and what their sexuality and their gender is and all that stuff, like most of these men identify as straight men, right? So they're these straight men dating these people who are not women, but they're seeing them as women. And that just to me seems like a very invalidating cycle to be in. Now, I'm not going to tell anyone how to live their life or what they should do or who they should love or what situation they should be in. But for me, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who A, isn't seeing me as my gender, and B, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who I have to sort of overlook their gender to see them as a man. I don't want to do that. And so I'm very much like, I'm not really interested in participating in those spaces. And that is also just kind of a further extension of kind of my general thing where I don't really go to queer stuff and I don't really feel like that's my space, to be honest, you know? Because yes, I'm trans, but I'm not, I don't identify as queer. My experiences are not queer. And being in a queer space just does not really feel like it's for me. And so I run into this tricky thing where in, your more general poly spaces, which tend to be a little bit more geared towards the typical shit that happens in poly where you're married and then your wife is bisexual and then you guys are in this sort of poly thing because she's into bisexual women and you're into bisexual women and you want to please her. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that sort of thing where, queerness only really presents itself in a situation where it feeds into, regular patriarchal ideas about what women should be doing with their sexualities, right? And so, that's very typical. And I'm just trying to like navigate through that. And, I will say, I think that there are definitely more open-minded people within these spaces, but my problem has kind of consistently been, there's a lot of men who find me very attractive, who really want to take me on a date, who don't know that I'm transgender. And when they do know that I'm transgender, it's like a question mark for them. So I kind of tend to just meet people online because that's just easier for me. It just makes me feel a lot more sane. Speaking of makes me feel a lot more sane, I forgot how good this foundation is. Like this shit is like matte as fuck. And I like a good matte, deadened skinned aesthetic. So anyway, I was kind of nervous going into this date because I kind of felt like, well, how am I going to tell him? Because my big thing is when I have a profile online, like if you see any one of my profiles, if you happen to cross any one of my OkCupid profiles or any one of my Tinder profiles, you will see like the first sentence is like, I'm transgender. If you're not into that, don't fucking contact me. I'm only into men who are experienced. I'm not interested in teaching you anything about me being trans. That's what every profile of mine reads. But that's online. In person, it's a little bit harder for me to just sort of have that conversation. And that doesn't come from some sort of shame that I have. It's just, I don't know the proper way to introduce that subject. Like I can casually talk about, like if we, for example, like yesterday, so I didn't end up telling this guy that I was trans. I'll get into that later. But if we had dived into like the deep reasons as to why me and the last guy that I that dumped me didn't work out, which he was a mutual friend of his, I would have talked about it and really not been like that uncomfortable talking about it. I would have just casually brought it up because it's not like I'm ashamed of it. It's like, it's just, to me, it's hard to explain. Like when you're early in your transition, talking about being transgender is like the most important thing to you. Like it's all you want to talk about. It's your biggest focus. There's almost nothing else that exists in this world. But when you're a decade in, you feel very silly bringing it up because you just realize like how in that moment in space, it's very irrelevant. Like it stops being this important thing to discuss, It really does, and it's like, and because of that, because here's my thing, I don't want to predicate my life on me being a trans person because while that's a part of my story, that's definitely not most of my story at all, especially right now. So a lot of my sort of frustration recently has been, I just don't really know how to bring it up with men who don't know and do it in a way where I'm not making it seem like this is the most important fucking thing to me, right? So anyway, here's how our date went. So after I got off the broadcast with you guys, I jumped into my Lyft. Everything was fine. And I have a thing when I'm walking into a bar, I instinctually grab for my wallet, knowing that I'm going to have to show someone my ID. And so as I'm walking in, I realize I left my wallet. At home. And so the place that we went was in Silver Lake, and I live not terribly far from Silver Lake, but definitely not like close. And so I got there and I was fucking pissed because I know how I left my wallet at home sounds. Like it sounds like I'm just pretending that I left money at home. Um, and I want you to pay for my shit, which we've talked about this before, but I'm really not about that. I'm really not about men paying for my stuff. I want to pay for my shit and I want to be able to cover myself. And I really don't want to have to worry about you know. And so, yeah, I instinctually was like really upset. And I was like, fuck, let me text him and see if he isn't here yet. And maybe I can go home and grab my wallet and come back, right? And so I was like, okay, let me text him. And then as I'm texting him, he walks up and he says, hi. And I'm like, fuck, he's here. And I was like, oh, I was just texting you. And I told him about my wallet. We sat down and I'm just stressed out. I'm just the kind of person where like, if shit's not lining up, and this is what I'm learning about myself, especially now dating again. If shit's not lined up, I just get really anxious and I can't like help but move. Like I can't help but like be all like antsy and shit. And so, I I was sort of antsy. We sat down, but I wasn't really content. Um, I told him that I really wanted to go get my wallet and that I wasn't trying to get free alcohol out of him or something like that. It's just not who I am. Um, and so, we hemmed and hawed, and he was like, well, let's just go ask the bartender. Now listen, because Kat Black is a very forgetful person. She has been in the fucking bar several times without her wallet. And unless she's a regular at the bar, which she usually isn't most places she goes to, she is going to have to show her ID, and she knows this. And I know that like under certain lighting, I look kind of young. And I really did not want for our relationship in this bar to be established as, oh, I'm the underage girl trying to get a drink. It's not how I look, not how I feel, you know? Um, and so anyway, um, so we him and ha again, and basically we decide that the best thing for us to do is to drive back to my place, grab my wallet, and come back. So I really wanted to go to this bar. Um, Now I will say, and this really fucking threw me off, when I didn't have my wallet. I'm sure you guys probably can tell like some of where this started to go. He was like, well, you don't have your wallet. Well, we can just hang out at my place. And I was like, yeah, no, no, no. Not that you're not cute or whatever, but yeah, I don't know you, so I'm not hanging out at your place. Just not going to happen. And then he suggested my place, and I was like, yeah, I don't know you. I'm not welcoming you into my place. And he was like, oh, okay, okay. Now this guy was from Belgium. He's a European dude. I know, I know, I know. And he was a nice guy. And he drove me home, and I did get my wallet, and we did go back to the bar, and we sat down, and the drinks were really good. I had two drinks. He had one. And we talked a lot about our situations and what we've been going through, because I told him I was having kind of a rough week. And a lot of that kind of converged onto, the point of like, I'm going through shit right now, and I'm really looking for more of a solid partner, because a lot of this fucking instability in my life the past couple of weeks has just been a little too much for me. And so I spent a lot of time talking about that. And we started talking about, his situation in his life. Now, one thing I found out, which I'm still having divided feelings about, is that the guy that I just stopped seeing, like apparently the guy that I went on a date with yesterday, his partner hosts like these like sexy parties all the time. And apparently, they're just all very like free for all sexual kind of things where, people are just having a good old fucking time. And not that I have a problem with that. I really don't. But I'm realizing that like for a lot of men, I'm realizing that for like a lot of men, polyamory is not about forming significant relationships with people. It's not about loving more than one person. It's not about being in a relationship with more than one person. For a lot of men who are poly, in my examination, it's about being able to fuck more than one person. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't think that this person's not poly. I think that they're still poly. But it's funny how often I talk to men who are poly, who it just seems like they're not really that big on dating, but they are really big on like, well, hey, maybe we can like meet up and have a good time, get some drinks and fuck. You know? And then even when it's like married couples, right? Like I've had I was talking to one married guy yesterday, in a poly marriage. It's like they have their like solid partnership already. They're really just kind of looking for some fun girl to fuck on the side. And if she's into her wife, and if she's into the wife too, that's even better. You know? Because with the guy that dumped me, it was like he made it clear at the very end, I don't think I'm really available for any sort of like loving, long relationship that you want. Now, mind you, me and him never fucked because he was insecure about being a trans woman. But when I would talk to him about the other dates he'd go on, yeah, he'd go on like real dates. He would go on real dates, but a lot of it seemed to be angling towards, I'm just wanting to fuck you, and I'm not really that interested in having a significant relationship with you. Now, I will say that I think poly, some people have their various degrees of like what they can do and what they can't do. Like if like a lot of like for example, the guy who dumped me, he's married, he has kids, he's busy. He already has a loving relationship that he puts a lot of energy and work into. He doesn't necessarily have the capacity to have another sort of loving relationship with another person, right? And I get that. I do get that. I guess for me, my poly is like I know I can love more than one person, you know? Um, and their poly seems to be they know they can fuck more than one person, which is, just it's not bad, just different polys. Um, and so anyway, I want to make it so janky. So anyway, long story short, so he started saying that there were like some interesting things that I posted on my Facebook, right? And I was like, oh, he had to have seen like a post that I made about being transgender. Like maybe he's gonna broach the subject because I'm having a really hard time broaching the subject. And so he scrolls down and he just points out some of the most like mundane stuff I've posted. Like I post a lot about the events I'm going to. I'm always like, ooh, this is an event. Like I post a lot of like sexy photos of myself and then being like, oh, I'm getting into some trouble tonight. Like that's a lot of my posts. And so a lot of what he did was like pointing at those posts and being like, well, what's that about? Like, like how did that go? Like what happened? Did you get into some trouble? And this past couple of weeks have been really dead in LA. Like LA has been super dead. So a lot of the events I've gone to have just been boring and like nothing's happened. And so that's kind of been the exciting adventure I've been having in LA of like going to these fucking parties, getting dressed up and sexy as shit, and then the party's dead because everyone's at fucking Coachella. And apparently that is way more interesting than what we're doing out here. Um, and so and so, that's kind of what we talked about. So we never really got to the trans stuff. And after I was telling him about my situation and what I was looking for, I kind of asked him very point blank, because a lot of what I've learned I have to establish with men is what is your availability? What is your capacity? Because I'm really tired of men dating me and then later being like, oh, fuck, I guess I can't do the thing I said I wanted to do with you, or this, or I said that I would be willing to do with you because I guess I just don't have the time. And it's like, you had to have known that before we started dating. Like, you had to have known that, right? You had to have. Um, you had to have. And that's kind of been my frustration is there are these men that are like, yeah, I can totally do this thing. And then like when it comes time to do the thing, they're like, oh, actually, I don't think I can do the thing. I'm like, well, you had to have known that, you know? So a lot of men, they just think I'm hot and they just want to like be around me. I'm not saying that to convince you. I'm just saying this is the impression I'm being given of like, oh, well, you're really pretty and I want to hang out with you. It's like, all right, but I'm looking for I'm not looking for, I don't want to say I'm looking for a relationship as much as I'm looking for someone who's open to that. Because fuck, I cannot rush into anything right now. I'm not going to rush into anything right now. It's absolutely not going to be happening. But I don't want to date someone who just wants to like fucking be my friend. That's not really something I'm interested in doing right now. Anyway, let me do my eyeliner. I know I have to be quiet for this. So I'll be right back. What time is it? It's almost 11. I hope he's not calling me right now. My date. Oh my god, I love how you guys are following me so closely that you know what date I'm going on. Yes, I am going on a date with a pan person. And I'm so fucking excited about it. The most excited I've been for a date in a while. Is he the goth guy? I'm not seeing any goth guys anymore. I was. Well, actually, so there. Oh, I'm thinking about him. He's so cute. So there is this guy actually who he's always at the parties I go to. Okay, so I'll tell you guys this. So I go to a ton of goth parties. It's like I go like at least 3 times a week. Um, and there is this guy that I always see at every event. Um, and he knows. So there's this. Oh God, I wish I could tell you guys all about like everyone. I don't want to like out anyone or tell anyone's business, but like, so there's this like. So my first night in LA when I tried to go out, I went to this real. I'm not gonna be specific. I went to this really big event that's like a big goth event that like fuck everyone on Tinder has pictures of this fucking event. And I rushed out to see if I can get there. And by the time I got there, the event was over. But the first person I met was like this really badass, like older goth girl. We're gonna call her. What are we gonna call her? What are we gonna call her? Her like actual name is like perfect, but I don't want to call her. I want to use her name on here. I'm gonna call her Amethyst. So Amethyst is just like this older goth girl, badass, always having fun, has a lot of friends, knows a lot of people, always looks fucking amazing, and has like all these like little boy toys around her. And so every time I go out, I don't know what it is about me. Okay, so our introduction, right, was me walking up to a group of people, and then someone in the group fangirling over me super hard. Like I'm just literally dressed in like my little goth attire, and I'm like, I'm trying to go to this party, and she's like, oh my god, you got black, or you got black, oh my god, or you got black, or you got black, or you got black. I'm like, blah 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 blah. And I was like, because if you okay, so the thing to know about me is I absolutely hate being recognized. Like, I mean, I've been better at it recently, but I absolutely hate being recognized, especially when I'm in some sort of goth ho attire. Um, Social justice when I'm out here low key trying to get, you know, my dance on and flirt with goth boys. That's not, you know what I mean? It's not really what I'm here for, to be honest. But it happens every fucking time because the goth community is very, well, the ones I'm part of, they're very socially aware, and so it's almost inevitable that I'm gonna run into someone who knows who I am. It's like inevitable. Um, and so Amethyst was standing there, and so Amethyst is very unbothered by everything. Amethyst is definitely like, okay, all right. You know, not that she's like a mean person, but she's definitely like, she's a very critical person. She doesn't believe in poly. So she's like listened to me bitch and moan about being poly several times. And she's like, that doesn't fucking work. And I'm like, all right, I get it. And with the guy that with the first goth guy I was dating, she walked up to me and she was like, listen, he's really not that into you. He's really not that into you because Zombie guy I was talking about yesterday. He's sober, but he goes to these events all the time just to dance. And so he's very much like, I'm going here to dance. And Zombie's definitely the kind of person where he only has so much social energy. He knows a lot of people. He is always very friendly to a lot of people, but he only has so much social energy. So there's only like so much he can really do. And so when we go to these events, it would be a lot of him saying hi to me, kissing me, hanging out with me, but then like going up on stage and dancing. And then also sometimes occasionally he'll run into other people and he'll maybe kiss them and da 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 da. And so from her perspective, Zombie like just wasn't into me. I knew what it was, so I wasn't that bothered by it. But you know, we did end up saying that at least we're gonna put a pause on our dating for now, sort of thing, until he figures out his main relationship. Anyway, I don't know how I got so far, but Amethyst knows a lot of people, and there's this guy that I'm always running into that hangs out with her all the time. Now, this guy's very interesting. He's like a Buddhist monk, which I'm like, I don't get it, but okay. And he is just such a friendly guy. He just looks like, and he just looks so cuddly. He just looks so cuddly, you know? And he's always dressed in like a really cute outfit. And so, and we kind of flirt every time we see each other. And it's just like a nice like little thing. And so one of the things I've come to realize is that I don't need men for anything. Like I could sit like if I really want to get fucked, I can simulate it, you know? I have several different dicks in this drawer that I can simulate that with and probably be okay. But when it comes to like cuddling, that's really hard to emulate. And so there was like a couple of weeks ago where I was like, I made a Facebook post that was like, it was like a job application thing being like, hey, looking for cuddly man with dad bod who wants to cuddle with me regularly. And he like said, I forget exactly what he said, but he like responded in a really smart way. And he kind of flirted with me, but I didn't really know that he was like interested in me. And so, you know, that was the beginning of us talking about stuff. And we saw each other at events, here and there. And then a couple days ago, when I went to, there's this big event that's at this cafe that's not far from me. They do like a big goth like dance night and also a marketplace. And literally no one was there. It was literally just me, him, and the other guy, and like some other random guy, and then some people dancing inside. But it was dead. It was dead. But he was there. And I was over it. I wanted to go to another bar. I wanted to go to another place. And so I was like, hey, let me know next time you're going to something, like we can, be there at the same time. And he was like, or, we can also hang out. We could also hang out outside of these places. We could go, get some food or go to a movie. And I was like, no, you have to understand, I've only been asked out twice in my life in person and said yes. Most of the times I just like laugh it off or like let it trail off, right? But recently I've been saying yes to men who are attracted to me, who meet me, and then are like, well, let's go on a date. And so I don't know where that's gonna go, but it's a thing. Let me finish my fucking eyeliner. I have one eye on, looking all wild. I should really check my phone though. Hello, Gary. Hello, children. Hello. And so now with that guy, oh, I totally fucked up my eyeliner. Like, I really fucked that up. Look what I did. Oh, well, we just have to make the other one match. It's fine. It's fine. We just have to make the other one match. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. We're okay. All right. Let me run in the other room and check my phone because I'm getting kind of nervous. All right. So like he's gonna be on a fucking bus for a minute. Well, I'm getting really upset with my phone right now because so I just got my phone repaired. And so I just bought a new charger and it's just suddenly not working. And I know it's fine, but it can't be this plug. It really can't be this plug. Wow. Sorry, this is really annoying me. I just spent $30 on this plug, on this fucking charger, and it's not working the way it should. I mean, my other charger works, but that's kind of not the point. Wow. Okay. Well, so my phone is at 64% right now. I'm gonna have to talk to these fucking repair people again. Because if I just paid them $200 to like not really fix my phone, like you can literally lick my fucking tape. Like, oh, and now this isn't working. Okay, no, it's working now. Okay, remember that the last time I touched my phone, we were at 64%. All right, so look how much I fucked up my eyeliner. So anyway, where was I? So yeah, there could be another potential goth guy that I'm dating, but like not that that's my type. It's like that's just who I hang around. So whatever. Um there's other things I can tell you about boys, but I don't want to talk too much about that. So I've been going to one bar a lot, and there's another bar that everyone works at, and everyone who works at the bar that I go to is all like in a band, right? So I've been like sort of following them on social media and shit. And one of the members of the band, so there's I think most of them in various degrees have like kind of flirt with me a little bit, because I'm just there all the time. But one of the guys, he's a bartender at another bar, and we matched on Bumble. We matched on Bumble, and I didn't say anything to him on Bumble because I was like, oh, this is too awkward. But we matched on Bumble, so I know at the very least he's attracted to me. And a couple of times I've been going. So when I went to there was an event last Thursday that was like a new night. And I went to this place and it was dead. It was really dead. It was really, really fucking dead. It was dead. But I was right down the street from that bar where he worked. And so I went to that bar, and I saw him. And it was like, oh, it's fun. It's nice to finally meet you in person. I mean, we've seen each other at the other bar all the time, but like, I think now that we've matched on fucking Bumble, it was like, ooh, you know. And so And so yesterday after my date, which I didn't finish up, well, let me just finish my date story because I didn't tell you, but it'll all make sense. So when it came to me telling that guy about me being trans, we never got around to it. It just never happened. And you know what, because here's the thing. So after talking to him and, telling him about my shit, and then asking him about, what capacity he has to date really, he basically said, look, I don't think that I really am going to be able to give you what you need. I don't think that I'm really as available as I think you would like for me to be. And honestly, I felt that. And I wasn't really like upset about it, to be honest, because it was like, yeah, because it became so. Here's what became clear to me, because he was talking about how he's seeing another person. This is a person who throws all these sexy parties that he goes to. He was telling me that like she is in a similar position that I'm in, where she wants a more significant partner, where she wants someone to be a little bit more available and a little bit more open for a dating type thing. Not dating type thing, main partner type thing. And he's just really not available for that, right? And this is someone who's clearly, he's been seeing her for a while. I'm new. He's been seeing her for a while, and it's like he can't even like commit to her, right? And so it's clear that like, we would never be able to be that or do that, But at least now we know. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna see him all the time. So my thing with going out with guys at these poly events is like, I'm gonna see you like every month. And then probably more than that, because there's a lot of crossover between the goth community, the BDSM community, and the poly community. There's a lot. And so it's like, I'm gonna see you guys. Let's not make it awkward. You know what I mean? Like let's if we can avoid awkwardness, like let's do that. And so, we went on a date. I think we're both open to going on another one, but we've definitely concluded that we probably aren't really looking for the same things. Because it was really clear to me that and he even talked to me about it. He was like, some people fuck on the first date, and I'm totally okay with that kind of thing. And I was like, because he basically told me he doesn't have the time or the patience really to build up a relationship, and then fuck kind of thing. He really was like, and this is why, of course, when I left my wallet at home, he was angling for, well, we can hang out at my place or we can hang out at your place, because clearly he was a little bit more open for just jumping into sex, right? Because he is like a lot of poly guys where it's like, yeah, sex doesn't need to mean anything. Like it's just, it's not doesn't mean it doesn't mean to mean anything. Like you just have to free yourself from that convention, man. Like just free yourself. Like he's very much that, and it's just like I'm not like a prude, and I'm definitely not against sex. I just don't fucking know you. See, here's my thing about sex in 2018. I've realized that I've had a lot of sex in my life. I've had a lot of sex. A lot. And one of the things I realized after I got out of my relationship and it was like more available to do that with other people, I realized that I've had a lot of sex, but I don't remember most of it. Like I really could not. I can't remember most of it. I know it happened. I know that we did the thing, but I can't remember most of it. There have been guys who have contacted me on Tinder that were like, "You sucked my dick at a party 5 years ago," and I'm not 5 years ago, obviously 6 years ago, maybe more. Um, and I was like, I don't remember that. I don't doubt it. Sounds like me, but I don't remember that. I really don't. And so, you know, so now I'm very invested in let's have good sex. Let's have good sex. Let's have memorable sex. And so with Soldier, who is the guy I've been seeing the longest, me and him, we have mind-blowing sex. It's so great. And me and Soldier, like we got to know each other for a month, right? Like we didn't have sex for a month. And when we fucked, it was so amazing. Like it was next level. I've never had anyone fuck me this way. Kind of shit. And so that's if I'm having sex right now, that's the kind of sex I'm interested in. I'm really not interested in let's just fuck to fuck. Like I've had a lot of sex. I think for a lot of people who are poly right now, they've had very sexually repressive um young life experiences. I had the opposite. I was hypersexualized from a very young age. I've been used for sex too many times in my life to be like turned on by men who just want to fuck me. And so I just can't do that. I just cannot do that. So I'm not excited at the idea of just meeting up with a guy who, yeah, I think is cute and fucking them. I told him I used to do this shit when I was so the old bar I used to go to in Orange County. There'd always be these guys who'd hit on me and clearly wanted to fuck and clearly want to do this and this and that. And when you have a lot of guy friends, you do end up hearing them talk shit about women. Like a lot of my guy friends in that bar scene were just terrible. Like I mean, they would point at girls that they fucked and give the full everything that happened, a mess, right? And I used to look at men who were like hitting on me really hard, who really wanted to fuck me. I used to look them right in the eye and say, "You don't want to fuck me. I'm crazy. You don't want to fuck me. I'm crazy." Because I know how I am, and I know that I'm gonna be at this bar all the time. I'm gonna be meeting these people. I'm gonna see the same circle of people, and if I'm not dating them or we're not having some sort of significant something, I'm not going to be happy. And you don't want to deal with that. You do not want to deal with me being in a situation where I'm just passive, because I know me. I know me. I can flip off that passive aggressive switch very quickly. Um, and I would rather not do that. I would rather not do that. And I think with him it would have been a similar thing where it's like, okay, so you want to fuck me, but you can't like, you don't want to like date me, like, and that's always been sort of a point of contention with me. It's like I'm been really tired and exhausted by men who want to fuck me but like don't want to date me, which is not uncommon. All women go through that, but it's kind of a trigger for me, to be honest. So I've just told myself that as much, and I told him like, there's been so many times where I've met like a really cute guy and like, you know, I like the idea of having sex with him and I'm not against having sex with him. But because I know I'm not going to be happy, um, I'm not going to have sex with them. I'm not going to have sex with them. So as fun as the sex would be, I'm sure, I believe it, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to be that girl who is just calling you nonstop and trying to, hang out with you and you're not really wanting to. And now she becomes the crazy girlfriend. How many times I've talked to men who are like, oh, like my crazy girlfriend, this my crazy ex-girlfriend. Like I told you guys vaguely about, one sec. Okay, 74%. All right. Now we're cooking with grease. I think I told you guys about the door guy at the bar that I go to where um me and him matched on Tinder. We didn't recognize each other for a while. But we were both talking. We were both interested in meeting. We were both interested in dating. But he just happened to be the door guy at the bar that I go to all the time. And so we had like a really flirty relationship for like a good couple of months, right? And then one night I was sort of drunk, and I told you about my whole like wanting to cuddle thing. I was just like, let's cuddle. And when I said cuddle, I really did mean cuddle. Which I have a cuddle story, which is maybe I'll tell it at a different date. But I just wanted to cuddle with him, and I was like so excited about the idea of cuddling with him. And so I walked him home, and he showed me his apartment, and it was really, he lived like right across the street from where I live. And so, I was like, let's cuddle. And he was like, so I should probably tell you, I've been seeing someone, and you know, I thought we broke up, but it seems like we didn't break up. And she always pops up to my place unannounced, and like, you know, um, she's kind of crazy, and like, I don't want you to be here when she's here because it could be really dramatic and it could be really da 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 da, blah blah blah. And you know what? Like I was really sort of annoyed because like you could have told me that a month ago. Like I was like throwing myself at him. I was being super super flirty. I was like low key sitting in his lap sort of thing. Um but like you have a girl you're seeing, and now I feel like I've crossed a boundary because I'm really not about like if someone's not poly, which I know he isn't, um but he's open to it. I'm not gonna fucking do the weird thing where I'm stepping in on someone else's fucking relationship. I'm just not. And so I felt really pissed off that he didn't tell me. Um, and I was also bummed because I really, really liked him because his whole thing was like, yeah, I've got this crazy girlfriend, but we just met at the wrong time, and oh my god, I wish things were different, and da 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 da. And then the next day I saw him because of course I went to the bar because I'm an alcoholic. Um, and I really just sat him down and was like, listen, because whenever guys are like, oh, I have a crazy girlfriend, I'm like, what it's been more often than not is that a lot of men like I've talked about this before, but a lot of men, they have this desire to be wanted and needed, you know? And so sometimes guys will lean on the girl who is there, who wants them, who maybe they don't really want, but she's there, you know? Maybe she's not as cute as he would like for her to be, but she's there. Maybe she has a lot of personality qualities that he doesn't like, but she's there, right? And so a lot of men are willing to like be like, oh, my crazy girlfriend and my crazy girlfriend. But the truth of the matter is, if you really like dig beneath all of that, really what it often ends up being is they haven't communicated with that person that they're not interested. They because every time they show up, they're that person who wants them in that moment, right? And so it's very it's very sort of sorry, okay, keep it message. Oh. What am I trying to say? It's very I know, very weird. And you know what? I don't actually not believe because we still do flirt. We still flirt. Like I was just there yesterday. We flirt, you know. Um, and we're clearly both interested in each other. And maybe it was a situation where it was like, oh, you know, we just met each other at the wrong time, or had already entered into like this super strong relationship with this girl, and maybe he, you know, regrets, you know, because his thing was like, oh, we just met at the wrong time, kind of thing. Like if I met you before this, things could have been different. Maybe that's very much the case. I don't really quite know, but at the same time, I later on ended up seeing this girl, like because so after that happened, I ended up kind of being a little shitty, to be honest. I was feeling kind of shitty and upset with him, and so I did take a date there, and I was kind of doing it as like in a roundabout, like, you know, fuck you. And he just happened to be there with the girl, um and the girl looked like a really nice girl. Like she looked like she was just a really nice girl, right? But I can tell maybe not totally his type, but a really, really nice girl. You know, I'm sure he's attracted to her, but she's not doing the things, or she's not everything he wants. But she was there and she was interested, and you know, it's not my problem. Monogamous people are confusing. Hey, okay, and it's gonna take you like an hour and a half. Okay, well, I am up. I am basically ready. And I have to figure out what I'm gonna wear, but I'll be there. I'll probably be there before you, maybe. Maybe I'll like try to like look around. Okay. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, bye. Steady chat. So let me finish. Oh, I bet I just cracked that palette. I bet this palette just went to shit. My Morphe 350. No. I kind of hate this palette. Like these, I don't think this is very. I don't know. Maybe it is, and I'm just using it wrong. I don't know. Let me stop. Anyway, going out to eat and I'm lining my lips. So anyway, my date last night just kind of ended. We did kiss though. We did kiss. And it was a pretty good kiss. Because the thing is, I probably would have had sex with him, but like, I'm not. He was cute. He was taller than me. We definitely started having a conversation about how certain things are easier when, you're with someone who's taller than you. But like, no, I can't. I just can't. And if we did have sex, it would just be too awkward for me. It's too awkward for me, you know? You know how I was like really excited about this fucking foundation? I feel like I am ashy as fuck right now. I would much rather keep it like so cordial and like continue to see him at events, but like know that it's not gonna, you know what I mean? I don't want to cross that line. Because if he fucked me and then was like, I'm just not available for like anything long term, it would hurt me. So I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm really trying right now to not hurt myself more than I've already been. Um, like I don't need to continue to do this shit to myself. You know what I mean? Like why do that? I don't know. I didn't know his whole situation before we went on a date. I'm glad we went on a date. We figured it out, but whatever. Let me take this photo. My bae. This is what I look at every time I get ready. I'm like, this is what I'm getting ready for. My ex used to hate that I had this on my vanity. I was like, you realize you look kind of like this, right? Like, you realize this is just me saying I have a type, right? But whatever. Whatever. So, this guy that I'm going out with today, I'm pretty excited about it. He's a bartender, which is like, oh, I should, oh my God, stop, Kat. Why do you have a type? Why is my type men who can make drinks? Because I'm an alcoholic, maybe? I don't know. um, but so he's interesting. So I will say, I'm actually not worried about this at all, but he's very different from any of the guys I've gone out with. So he's pansexual, which I love. Because not even because of what he likes, but more of like I'm just really into men who are confident about their sexuality and like don't need to be validated. Like I'm really into that whole like I know what the fuck I'm doing aesthetic. Like I can just really vibe with the whole like I'm not sort of going through my own fucking bullshit aesthetic of like, I know my sexuality, I understand my sexuality, I'm not questioning it, I'm not going through any weird journey with my sexuality. That's just an aesthetic that I can really get behind, you know? You know? Sorry, don't look at my butt. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at my butt. Don't look at my butt. Don't, what the fuck are you looking at? Look at my butt. I'm just so lazy when it comes to making up my bed. It's like, I'm just gonna fucking throw a sheet on and call it a day. Just like, yeah, so it's basically like made up, you know? Good enough, good enough. Good enough. One sec. All right, let me put you guys up here. All right, so this guy is pansexual, which I'm very okay with. Soldier, the guy that I've been seeing the longest, is also pansexual. And I just don't know. I feel like I think when men reach the point where they're identifying as pansexual, to me that says a couple of different things. It just tells me that they've done the work to like figure themselves out a little bit more than most men have. Not that like you have to feel that way, but I don't know. I think when you get to the point where you're identifying that way, it's like, yeah, that means you're actually thinking about this stuff, which is kind of important to me because I'm really not interested in like trying to help you figure shit out. So I'm totally okay with men who are pan. There was a time where I wasn't. There was a time where I would feel like, okay, well, if this man is with me and he also likes men, is he looking at me as a man? You know? But like, no, that's just not really that's just not really the way that it is, you know? And what the person I've so here's what I've learned with time, because I didn't always feel this way, but I definitely did at one point. What I've learned with time is that what men like and who they are interested in does not reflect you at the fuck all, you know? There will always be men who are looking at you a certain way and they're not really affirming your gender in their head. Like I had a guy recently who I had conversations with him like I've never had with a guy before because he just has a really hard time wrapping his mind. I mean, I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I had a lot of like debates with him, and I'm not used to debating with men about my gender. This was a guy who, you know, was interested in me and was taking me out and was dating me, and like just had way too many fucking question marks about trans stuff, you know, and also was really into sexual things that I wasn't into. So it was just like you have all these things you're doing where you're invalidating trans women's genders, but at the same time you want to suck dick. Like I'm not saying there's some incongruence there, but clearly you haven't sorted your shit out, and I'm not really into that sort of thing. And so, you know, I'm okay with you sucking dick, just, you know, suck someone else's, you know, just over there across over there, you can suck dick over, and that's fine. I'm not judging you for it. Suck that dick. You know, I love dick. I understand why you'd want to suck it, but you know, not really for me. But anyway, like pansexual guys, they don't have that like that same like again when you're at the point where we're identifying that way, like they don't have that same sort of weird incongruence where they're struggling through shit. Usually, not always, but usually. There's like a pretty strong understanding of who they are and what their situation is. And I like the fuck out of that. And the reason why I've been able to be with Soldier for so long, I know, is because he did all of his weird figuring out about trans people shit like years ago, way before he met me. I'm not his first trans woman. I'm not his only trans partner right now. Like, and I love that. I really, really fucking do. So this guy's pansexual, but he's different from a lot of pansexual guys that I've talked to. He is, like a lot of guys that I've tried to date, more attracted to women. But he currently works as a bartender at a gay bar. And a lot of his friends are gay. And a lot of the places he go are gay places. And I guess there was a bit of me that was like, you know, like, I guess I felt a little insecure about that in a way because, like, and I told him this, I was like, I don't go to gay bars, you know, but that's kind of who he's around, you know, and so that's sort of what he socializes with, you know, and everyone around him knows and respects his sexuality and stuff, you know. Like he was telling me there's always times in gay bars where people are like, are you gay? He's like, no. Are you straight? No. Are you bisexual? No. And then people are just confused, you know? But he very much like has dated trans women, is mostly into women, and, you know, has his like exceptions when it comes to men, and sometimes will only see men in a certain way. But anyway, so I'm going into this date with like a little bit of like worry, but not really, because I feel like he's got his shit sorted out, and I think we're gonna be fine, you know. And so I'm pretty excited about it, but he's not poly. He's not poly. Okay, and one of the things I heard over and over again at the convention I just came from was date within your species, which sounds like, you know, racist propaganda. But what it just means is, you know, date people who are poly. And, you know, I'm kind of exhausted with a lot of the men that I've dated within the poly world that are usually like, a lot of poly people are like people who were married who are now opening their marriages. And a lot of those people are really not in the space to really, I mean, if they haven't figured out their sexuality in a way to figure that shit out, really. I mean, a lot of poly sort of people that I've talked to, it's like the wife is the one exploring her sexuality. The wife is the one, and he's just like, you know, this big straight McStraighterson. Not that that doesn't happen sometimes where, you know, maybe the guy is, you know, a little bit more curious or whatever. But like, you know, for the most part, that's kind of what it is. And so, yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a little worrisome for me. The guys that I'm trying to date that are within the poly world. So now he's one of these guys who I've talked to, because all of my profiles make it really fucking clear that I'm polyamorous. And he's one of these guys I talked to who says he's open to it. You know? So there's a little bit of nervousness that I'm walking into this with, because you know, what if this ends up being a dead end? What if this ends up being a guy who I really, really, really like, but he can't handle the poly thing? But I think actually he probably will be okay. Like, the impression I actually really do have of him is he'll probably be fucking okay. He'll probably be fine. I actually think that he'll probably be cool with it, but you never fucking know. And you know what? I've said that about so many different people, about so many different things, and they haven't been okay with it, and they haven't been chill, and they have, you know what I mean? So sometimes maybe my assumption isn't true. I'm hoping that I'm wrong here. I really am. But I guess we'll find out. So I feel really, really good about him. Like, I get really, really good vibes. Like, we talked on the phone for 3 hours yesterday. 3 hours. And so I'm a little nervous that we're not going to have much to say in person. But I'm sure we'll be fine. And when it comes to like our conversation about Polly, after our 3-hour conversation, he did ask me, like, he wanted me to just talk to him a little bit more about Polly. And he was like, oh, I forgot to ask you, like, is being Polly something that you see yourself always being? Like, are you always going to be Polly, or do you think if you like met the right person, that might change? And essentially what I told him is like, I think that, you know, there's a possibility that if I meet someone who I really, really like, that I might want to spend most of my time with them, that I might want to prioritize them, because I don't know where I really stand on the whole hierarchical or non-hierarchical thing. I don't really know. I kind of have a feeling that I'm very hierarchical, so, you know, who knows? Like a lot of polyamorous women, I'm kind of like wanting more stability, I guess. And, you know, hierarchy, when it comes to that, kind of appeals to me. So we'll see. Sorry, I'm trying to zip up my dress. So I can see myself spending most of my time with someone. I can see myself forming a really strong like bond and relationship with someone. But can I see myself never being with anyone else? No. And I wouldn't want to be with someone who would make me feel like that was the choice I had to make if I wanted to be with them. Oh, this dress is so fucking cute. So, you know, I don't think that he told me he's totally okay with it, but we'll fucking see. I'm really excited about meeting him. I'm really fucking excited about meeting him. More so than I have been with a lot of other guys. Like a lot of other guys, I've been excited about meeting them, but I'm like really excited about meeting him. Because I just get really good vibes, and he's really, really cute. And I know that we're very compatible. He's a little chubby. He's a little chubby, a little cuddly. So, you know. I don't know what it is about me. Like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, I think as I get older, I find myself drawn to thicker men, men with beards, just like more sort of like men I look at and I'm just like, oh, like you're comfortable, you're cuddly, you're safe, you know? So we'll see. And yes, it's short. So this dress is very much so like, it's very cute and poppy and fun, but it's a little sexy. It's very short. Like, if it just comes up about here, there it is. It's like right there. So, you know, it's like, it's a little sexy, but it's a little cute and flirty, and it's not too inappropriate. I'm glad I didn't wear this dress last night for that guy. Really glad I didn't. These are like my first date dresses. So, yeah. How do you sit down? I'm sitting down right now. So yeah, what time is it? He said 1. I'm definitely gonna get there before him. I'm definitely getting there before him. Or maybe I'll just stay here for a bit. No, how long is it gonna take me to get there? Actually, let me check that before I get too cocky. I'm getting a little nervous. Ooh, how much? 1 hour and 3 minutes till full charge. There's something wrong with my charger. I really need to fucking yell at them. I feel like you always wear florals. So like my mood is either like florals or black. Like that's literally how I dress is like florals or all black. What if he's watching this broadcast? Well, that's fine. What shoes are you going to wear? The same shoes I wear with everything, honestly. So he did tell me that he's the same height as me. And there's a part of me that's like, oh, I should wear some short shoes. Like, Don't make me so tall. I don't know. I have a thing about height, I guess. I really enjoy when I'm not taller than a guy. Huh. What shoes am I gonna wear? I've been wearing like my thigh high boots a lot. How would these look with this? I don't know. Would this look cute? Maybe it would look cute. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. That probably would look cute. I should have some socks on first. That's important. I just get two socks that don't even match. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm really excited about it, so we'll see how it goes. Of course, I'll keep you guys all updated and shit. Um, I'm a little nervous because I don't know, I really like him. I'm like more excited. So like for him, here's why I like him and why I feel good about him. I know that like I'm not going to be having to explain myself, you know? Um, I know I'm not going to be able to, I know I'm not going to explain myself. Oh, he's not short. He's just the same height as me, and I'm 5'10", so he's definitely not short. We're just the same height. Okay, these shoes kind of bring me down to the floor. I'm trying to make myself smaller for a man, you know? Trying to like make him not feel threatened. You know? You know? If I get there before him, maybe I'll go shopping or something. Because this is an area where there is like a little fashion district, and I have not gone there since I've been in LA. It's one of the few places I haven't like really checked out. Yeah, I don't usually wear these shoes, but you know, they're kind of cute. They're sort of adorable, and it'll make me like his height, you know. And then I'll show up next week with like really like my shoes because I wear like Comet boots like every day, and those always make me at least 3 inches taller than I actually am. Um, but I've had these shoes for a while and I haven't really worn them. Yes, that Anthropologie look. Very much so. Let me talk about the Lost Kingdom. Okay. Let me go look at my. Actually, I'll stand on the fucking. I don't know if these look cute or not. Does this go with my boot or my look? I think it kind of does. I think it works. And I'm gonna be like so short. He's gonna be like not threatened by me at all. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so great. Like he's gonna be like, "You're so short. I wasn't expecting you to be so short." I'm like, I know, I know. These are gonna be like my first. You know what? These are gonna be my first date shoes. I'll wear these every. I'm 5'10". They go, but why am I wearing shoes in my house? Good fucking question. Good fucking question. I grew up in a predominantly Asian community, and so taking your shoes off in the house was just like a normal fucking thing. I should really make that a thing in my apartment, though. I should. Oh, thank you, Dee Dee. Oh, I was supposed to check. Oh, I can check on my computer. I'm on a computer right now. I should. I'm not very smart. I'm not very smart. 85%. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to text. I'm gonna text them right now. Is the video quality good? I haven't used this webcam in a really long time. What about sandals? Fuck sandals. My feet are not cute enough for sandals. My feet are not cute enough for sandals. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But my feet are not cute enough for sandals. So effortless. I've just been here for the past hour and a half. I mean, I'm not actually wearing a lot of makeup. I'm wearing 3 eyeshadow colors, eyeliner, mascara, lip liner, and fucking lip gloss, which is like not a lot of makeup. It's not a lot of makeup. Do you have any high socks? I do have high socks, but none that match with these boots, though. I do, and I love a good high sock look. I love a good high sock look. What lip gloss are you wearing? Fenty? You know. Like, of course I'm wearing Fenty. That's the only lip gloss I really like. That's the only lip gloss I can really wear. Okay, so I think I should probably go. Especially because I should probably make a phone call to this repair company. But yeah, this was real cute, y'all. This was real cute. Real cute or whatever. So I'm gonna tell you guys how this date goes. I'm a little nervous, but I think it's gonna be really good. Like, we talked for 3 hours yesterday. 3 hours. 3 hours. And he sent me a message after. It was so cute. He was like, this was like the best like phone conversation I've had in a really long time. I was like, oh. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to like a good date. You know what I mean? Like, not that I don't have a lot of bad dates, to be honest with you. I don't have a lot of bad dates. But they have a lot of them just don't go anywhere, and that's just so aggravating. Like, I want to be able to like go on a date with someone and then be like really excited about seeing them again. So we'll see. And through the course of this broadcast, the guy that I went on that like okay date with, he did hit me up because he's at like a space convention. We'll see. I'll give him another chance. And because he knows now not to take me to a loud bar. He knows this now. He now understands that that's like inappropriate and you shouldn't do that. And like, if you want me to have a good time, this is just not the way to fucking do it. So. If you want to know how I smell all the time, it's I wear Rihanna Nude. It's my like fucking fragrance. And then I always spray this apple blossom and lavender body spray into my hair. And everyone's always like, you smell so good. So like confession, I'm like really insecure about the way that I smell. I grew up with, so like my little brother growing up, well, I'm still honestly, had like really bad hygiene issues. And I've kind of talked about that a little bit on my channel before, but I don't want to get into it. It's kind of not really my story to tell. But it made me very insecure about the way that I smelled because he was known for not smelling good on campus. Like he was known for not smelling good. And so it made me really insecure about how I smelled. And so I just am always really on edge about the way that I smell. But people have been telling me a lot lately, oh, you smell good. What are you wearing? What are you wearing? When I get into the back of Ubers and the guys like my fragrance, they're like, what are you wearing? I want to buy it for my girlfriend. I'm like, it's Rihanna, nude. That's what I say. And then there's a song that plays so hard, plays in the background, and I'm like, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Talk to you guys later. Matane.